We're here at Spieker Point, Software Engineering and Solutions, at their open house and 8th anniversary. Welcome to FusedLogic TV. I'm your host, Walter Schwabe. I'm joined by Steve Hole, who's a software architect here at Spieker Point. Welcome, Steve.
Hello.
Okay, let's talk a little bit about security. Security is an important issue for all sizes of companies. When you're operating computers and networks, oftentimes, though, as a company evolves and grows, you have to add software applications into the mix. And that can sometimes be a bit troublesome. Let's talk a little bit about that. How do you get an application to work in what is generally a foreign environment?
Well, it's not that hard, but you have to be prepared to establish an island or a central point of authority for who owns those accounts and how they get managed. And there's a series of standards in place that help you out with that. And you can come along and enable your software applications to make use of those standards and employ those standards. So as a matter of course, for the software that we develop here at Spieker Point, we enable our applications to do that as well. And there's a collection of standards, a number of acronyms, a huge endless list of acronyms actually that come along and be brought into play for this kind of stuff. But the whole idea is that you set up a central authority for all your authentication information and all your authorization rights, and then you allow those various applications to come along and make use of that information. So
that's at the code level, okay?
Yes.
Now let's talk a little bit about culture. Right? Mm-hmm. Because we've got IT departments that usually like to button things down really tight. Yes. And they manage IT departments by simply just saying no most of the time, thinking that they're managing risk. How do you, what sort of things do you come up against there?
Well, in fact, there's two levels of security. There's the internal and the things you need to do to make various disparate islands of data and applications work together internally. And then more and more, there's making those work externally too, as people move applications into the cloud, and as people have strong desire to interoperate with people in the outside world. So let's take healthcare. They've got groups of doctors, and they've got Alberta Health Services, for example, here in Alberta, which is a central authority for that information. They have to be able to exchange information. So they have to be able to trust each other and do those kinds of things. So for the internal application group, they want the number one capability is single sign-on. So they have one account for the whole organization, and every application they go into, they can use that one account. For the external stuff, now they have to be able to say, well, my account here inside Primary Care Network, for example, because I've logged in here and Primary Care Network trusts Alberta Health Services, Alberta Health Services trusts Primary Care Network, my logging in here is enough to establish a trust relationship.
Almost like a passport in a sense.
Absolutely. So it's called single sign-on. Right. And it's the holy grail of security that you can do that and still have the confidence that you're exchanging information securely. So security happens at so many different levels. But right. As soon as you go on the outside, and as soon as anything goes to the outside, it becomes 10 times more complicated. And so that's why people, the risk management people and the security officers in organizations are going, oh, no, we can't go outside.
Right.
Can't go outside because it's just too risky. So,
and yet, we are able to go outside.
You have to be able to go outside.
Exactly.
And more, the push is to move applications from inside the organization to being hosted outside the organization in the cloud and doing that. And so standards have been in place for 20 years for doing that. And we've actually participated in the development of those standards over the years. And so we have a very good understanding of them, but they're just now really catching on and becoming important. So many times people will specify that you need to be able to support these kinds of things in your application in order to participate.
Steve, thank you so much for letting us peer into the security and the software architecture that you work with every day. I've been speaking with Steve Hole, the software architect for Spieker Point, here at their open house. I'm your host, Walter Schwabe, on FusedLogic TV.